we should look at what is Rule 2, what isn't, and what's the science, what's the case law, and where we can go with that.
So I have a question about, and it's a legitimate question on it. So when we talk about a safe place, so let's think about an apartment complex. Let's think about your cheesy, crappy built apartments, okay? And I'm sure you've all seen similar things. I've personally seen where people inadvertently fired a weapon inside their apartment and it went through the ceiling, which is actually somebody else's floor, right?
Struck someone.
Yeah, or nearly struck someone or whatever. So let's just say I'm in a second story apartment. I've got a problem, and I don't want to get too detailed in it, but let's just say I've got a problem. I have a need to have my firearm out in my hands. I'm dealing with this guy. He's right in front of me. Standard issue, male, human, one each. Where is it? And I'm not being a smartass here, okay? Where is the safe place for me to have my muzzle? Because I can argue both sides of this coin. Having it at his feet, or even my feet, even the tight a SEWL or an NRA safety circle or whatever you want to call it, that's still somebody else's ceiling. You know, there's a family of 4 immediately below me. I could argue, no, that's not the safest place to have my muzzle. Okay, so then do I go compressed high ready, you know, or even what they used to teach, you know, the high guard or whatever. Okay, well, then that could go out into the universe somewhere. So what are your thoughts on that?
I like Spalding's kind of arc of ready because it's event location contingent, right? We're going to end up a lot of the time going to the least damaging.
Yes. Least
damaging.
Yeah.
I won't even say safest. I'll just say the least likelihood of causing damage. Right.
Yeah.
While the lower the muzzle, the better the information coming in and the better decision making, not just based on one study, but a few and stuff going back for quite a while now. Right. Also, you got to consider department policy. You've got to consider state law, because you've got more and more states mandating muzzle across meat at any time equals reportable use of force.
Right.
And we could all see where stuff's going on that one. Right. So rather than it's not going to be just a doctrinally correct low ready, but it's going to be where based on the event. I like Dave's stuff. Not everybody's going to adopt it and teach it, but I think that's probably the least bad solution.
Yeah.
I'd say best, but I don't think there's a best solution for any of this.
Well, that's kind of, that's what I just said. So is it truly a low ready if you're in a second floor apartment, or is maybe the low ready the safest, a articulable safest place to be? I know what it is. It's certainly safer than placing it on a crook. It's certainly safer than placing it on yourself or a partner or a child or any of that other stuff. It's certainly safer. In a second floor apartment, there almost is no ready position that's a true ready. You're going to have to actually put some thought into what's the safest place for the muzzle to be. And the answer is not another human being.
Right.
And sadly, most people that we're seeing, it's another human being. It's, again, what's the, you're always going to have that problem in an interior building that's a multi-story, is there's just not going to be a ready position in a multi-story, especially clearing stairs, stuff like that. All that stuff's going to get those aren't ready positions. So now are we teaching a concept, though, that maybe there's a safer place to put the muzzle? So you can use it. You can use an arc of ready. You can use and I stole that from. I just like the way Steve Fisher termed that. Is he goes, look, this isn't. It's just find the safest place to put the muzzle and put it there. I'm like, well, that makes sense.
Yeah.
As a way to determine that normal people can understand, is put the muzzle somewhere that's safer than, and you can make the argument that if I'm a little high, maybe that isn't the safest for me based on physicality closest to the person or whatever, but at least be able to articulate as part of the discussion. Can we articulate that, the muzzle was in the safest place I had available to me with an articulation versus, well, I put it on the crook because I'm a cop. And I was scared. I was scared. My emotions, my feels, I felt terrified. So that's what I did.
So I've been in situations where the opening in the building or the balcony, especially again, if you're outside the building and it's an elevated position, that the safest place to put my muzzle was to the left or to the right of the opening because there's bricks and stone right there. And so I'm not pointing the rifle at anybody else. I'm not aiming the rifle at anything so if he presents himself in this opening, I can move from here to there. So I'm not going from up, bottom up or top down. I'm going from the side. That's an option. But again, if you're inside of a building, if you don't know what the construction is in that building, and who does always, then, I think you are having to kind of pick what's the safest possible place considering the circumstances that I'm in right now. And I think there's an argument to be made that every now and then, hey, maybe the safest place for me to put this right in the middle of that TV set, which is in front of a wall that I believe to be a brick wall. I don't know.
Well, in a hotel room, it's the air conditioner. So.
Yeah, well, that's probably true. Yeah, that's probably true.
Well, or you know what? Maybe in those conditions, the safest place might be your hand on your gun inside the holster.
I was going to bring that up.
Just to piss people off. Yeah. Why does it always have to be out if we have some of these situations?
It doesn't.
We got all these techniques for running with a firearm in our hand. My argument from experience of failure is maybe we shouldn't be running at a speed with a gun out that we're engaged in something faster than we can think and stuff that maybe if we're running, having the gun holstered might be a whole lot safer. So again, the argument needs to be in line with Eric. What does the science say about making wrong decisions? Does that have to get factored in? So now if I try to put the gun in the safest place possible for bystanders, because every round hits something, they get 100% hits in the public, but where's the safest place to put that muzzle? And also, where is the safest place for me to make a force decision? And a lot of times that is, I'm sorry, you can't see your dot on the guy's chest while you're making that decision.